Hello everyone, and welcome to Markham's Arkham, and today I'm going to be talking about the 2018 film Hereditary, written and directed by Ari Aster. Let me start off by just talking about the cast, okay? It's great cast. Toni Collette, the lead as the mother, Annie, just gives a stellar performance. I'll tell you what, she is a phenomenal actor. The things I have seen of hers in her career so far, she has just been amazing in everything I've seen her in. She is a future Oscar winner. Look for her to win that Oscar in the future. I guarantee she's going to win for something sooner or later. If she hasn't already, I don't really pay attention to that petty bullshit. It doesn't really mean much in the scheme of things and filmmaking in general, in my opinion. But, moving on. Gabriel Byrne as the husband, Steve. Alex Wolff as the son, Peter, and Millie Shapiro as the daughter, Charlie. The film has a lot of really tense, dramatic elements. It's a horror film, essentially. First of all, let me say that this is a horrible, disturbing film. It's a great film. Actually, it's a really well done film, but that's why it's so disturbing and terrible. The film starts with the death of Annie's mother, and she has a little bit of regret and some things about their relationship that she had not really yet gotten beyond, was never able to discuss with her mother, who was apparently mentally ill, and she is in grief counseling after the death of her mother. Well, the daughter, Charlie, has her own strangeness. She fucking cuts his head off a bird and keeps it and then does this thing with it. I don't know if it's a ritualistic thing. The bird was already dead. It's not like she killed the bird. So I don't know if what she ends up doing with it is a way for her to deal with her grief, if it's some sort of ritual or some sort of tradition. But she is strange, and she also has this allergy to chocolate or peanuts. Sometime in the film, the son, Peter, is going to a party, and his mom, Annie, makes him take his sister Charlie with him. And while at the party, she eats something with nuts in it and goes into anaphylactic shock. The brother Peter rushes to get her home or get her to the hospital. They're rushing to the hospital. On the way there, she is choking and she's trying to breathe. She rolls the window down, sticks her head out the window, and her head gets decapitated by a telephone pole. And that's where the film really starts to get disturbing. The son, Peter, brings the daughter home, her body, and leaves it in the car because he's in shock. He's just in shock, and he goes upstairs and goes to bed. And the mother, Annie, comes down the next day and finds the body. And her performance in that scene, the way she's giving that grief and that horror to her discovery and the pain that she feels from it, when watching that scene, her performance is so stellar that you feel her grief, you feel her pain. It's one of the reasons I can't even watch this film. On top of that, she's in the grief counseling, and she transitions and continues the grief counseling for her daughter. Then comes along the woman Joan, played by Ann Dowd, who befriends Annie and gives her a consolate ear and a shoulder to cry on if need be. Joan claiming that she went through a very similar experience and that she's been dealing with her own grief from this experience. However, this is a coercive engagement on Joan's behalf because she does not have the greatest of intentions, as we come to find throughout the course of the film. Annie begins to receive contact from what she believes is her daughter Charlie from beyond. However, it's this spirit, Paimon, who's referred to at the end of the film. Annie keeps in contact with the spirit. The father, Steve, wants her to quit what she's doing, to move beyond this, and to give it up because it's not really what she thinks it is. And he starts to believe that Annie needs help and therapy herself. Nonetheless, Joan ends up convincing Annie, and they do become friends. Annie, throughout the course of the film, ends up being possessed by this spirit, Paimon, and brings this foreboding, sinister, demonic presence that is foretelling the inevitable outcome. So Joan, who befriends Annie, is the one who, in the first place, convinced Annie that she could communicate with her daughter in the beyond, and she teaches her how to do the seance and the ritual and everything to connect with her daughter. But she's not actually connecting with her daughter, she's connecting with the spirit Paimon, and therefore ends up being possessed by Paimon. Her son is very afraid and disturbed. Throughout the film, he's attacked while in class by this spirit that is part of his mother or part of his family. Hence the title Hereditary. This is something that they go back to, showing a connection between Joan and Annie's mother, and that's what the mother, Annie's mother, carried over to Annie and the family beyond, this cult that the mother was a part of. So it's something that's a continuation throughout the bloodline in the family. Then by the end of the film, it seems kind of rushed. It seems like the film was kind of running out of steam. Steve is addressing Annie about the sketchbook, which she doused in gasoline and plans to burn. And then they get into an argument over it, and she throws it in again, and he lights on fire. So it shows like the connection of the spirit of Paimon in Annie to the act of the sinister, because the father had to be removed in order for this spirit to return. Then Annie goes after her son Peter. She cuts her head off with a piano wire. Her body floats up into the tree house. So she floats up to the tree house, and the light, the spirit, enters into Peter's body, and he heads up into the treehouse following his mother's headless body, only to see her kneeling before him with his grandmother's headless body next to Annie's headless body, kneeling before him as well, with his mother's head on a pike and a crown. And then Joan grabs the crown off the head and crowns him and refers to him as Charlie. And then they say, "Hail, Paimon." It's one of those dark films, but not dark in an entertaining way. It's dark in a disturbing way, and I never recommend those. Those aren't fun. I mean, why do you want to put yourself through that, you know? Even though I give the film 8 out of 10, I still wouldn't recommend it. So, that's been my take on this film. I hope you guys appreciate it. If you can, click that like, click that subscribe. Tell everyone you know about it. Angel investors, all the kitties that you have in your life, tabbies, Himalayans, sphinxes, Persians, and all species in between. Space cases out there that you know. Let everyone know about this, please, to help the algorithm. Click that like, click that subscribe. so more people can see this. And I do appreciate you being here and very much appreciate your support. Thank you again. Until next time, much love to all of you. Take care of yourselves. Peace.